The fucking police car pulls up, and I was like, you know what, I should get out of the car. I was like, wait a minute. Bae got a suit on. Bae, you get out of the car.
This is Two Dope Queens. It's a podcast that my wife recently introduced me to, and I love it. I am a podcast nerd. I don't care if it's Invisibilia, 99% Invisible, This American Life, Savage Love, Reply All, Snap Judgment, whatever. I love podcasts. I listen to 2 different podcasts about Game of Thrones. No shame. I've even emailed into a show when I thought their production value was less than it should have been. Who am I? Of course, my love for podcasts always makes me think I should start a podcast. I'm not going to start a podcast, but there are 3 topics that I would start a podcast for. Number 1 is a cross between like a Savage Love and a mystery show. Myself or the other person I'm doing the show with will answer your questions, or if we can't figure out an answer, we will then try and maybe ask some professionals or, maybe random people on the street to give you a great answer. I do feel qualified to answer questions on being black, on being a female, on being gay, on being married, and maybe some sports questions, and maybe some like educational questions since I work in that realm. Number 2, the second podcast that I would be a part of is a podcast about an intellectual conversation about race. I really, really loved Michelle Martin's Tell Me More. She had a segment called The Barbershop, and they talked about, race relations from a lot of different perspectives. I think we need that. I think that we as a culture really need to have a intelligent conversation about race. That's something we're not doing, and I think it's really important to do it. So yeah, that is something that I'd be very, very interested in doing. R.I.P. Tell Me More. R.I.P. The third show that I'd be interested in doing is a honest conversation with married couples about marriage. I feel that marriage has been portrayed in a very haloed light, if you will. And marriage is great. I love being married. My wife and I have some friends who are married, and we just honestly talk about marriage and what's going on in our marriage, and it's so wonderful to really talk about and really share the complications and the ups and downs of marriage. And I don't think that we as a society portray that enough. Everything is very much behind closed doors, and we don't let people know, hey, these are the struggles. And so that you can say, oh yeah, hey, we struggle with that too. Or hey, here's how we solve that. Or hey, I'm kind of like your partner, here's what I would like, or here's how I respond. I think that's really, really valuable and something that we don't do in our society. I'm not so sure that we're uplifting married couples in an authentic way. We say, oh, relationship goals, but we don't necessarily know what it takes to really sustain that relationship. I think a conversation with married couples, old married couples, young married couples, and learning and growing as a larger community would be really beneficial. All right, I'm gonna take my nerdy ass out of here. Cut. Oh, relationship goals. Well, you don't really know.